Hey folks, Countywide has moved. Our award-winning community talk program has moved to Sunday mornings at 6 a.m. We'll continue to bring you interesting and informative community newsmakers, just as we've done for nearly 20 years, but now as your Sunday wake-up at 6. Brought to you by Edward Jones Matthias Sandoval, Rice Accounting Jackson Hewitt, Farm Bureau Randall Insurance, and Verde Solaire. Join me, Brad Miller, for Countywide, 6 a.m. Sundays on this Yavapai broadcasting station.
It's time now for Countywide with Brad Miller. Listen in as Brad and his guests cover a wide range of topics, issues, and events. Now here's today's Countywide.
Well, a good day to you and welcome to the program. It is Countywide. I'm Brad Miller, and we're happy to welcome into studio kind of an annual tradition it's becoming with Becky Hardy. And Becky's the president of the Butterfly Enthusiasts of Northern Arizona. And did I get that right so far?
You did.
We're doing okay so far. Good to see you again. You came in, it was about a year ago, I think last August or so, kind of ahead of a big event that your organization has coming up, I think on the 12th of September. Is that right? Why don't you talk to me a little bit about that?
That is right. We are very, very excited to be partnering with the city of Sedona for their first ever Butterfly Festival. And it will be held, as you mentioned, Saturday, September 12th from 9 a.m. to noon. And that will be at the Sedona Wetlands Preserve, which is off of the 89A.
Okay, so big event.
Big event.
The
We're
big
very
one.
excited, yes.
Yeah.
We will be having other organizations also there as well. These are a lot of experts from around the state of Arizona, butterfly experts.
Sure.
And so folks will have the opportunity to speak with them. We will have crafts. We will have educational opportunities. We will have monarch tagging. We will have scavenger hunts. We will have items for sale for donation. And we will also have plants for sale for gardens. You know, everybody, it's that time, right? We're coming up to fall. It's another great planting time. So everybody can start thinking about their pollinator gardens, and we will have some plants for sale at the festival.
Okay, I want to talk to you a little bit about that here in a second. And then the next day, you'll be sleeping all day.
I will. Actually, I'm meeting some friends. They're coming out for the festival,
Fun.
and I'm going to go out birding and butterflying with them the next morning.
I think about, you say folks from all around the state, and I think about that, and Arizona's got such a rich topography, geography, that I would think there are pockets of different, probably species or types of butterflies all over.
Correct.
Is that right? So you're going to they'll be represented through this group and your organization. Probably pretty good representation around the state.
Very good, yeah, very good representation. And yeah, it does vary. You know, butterflies, of course, need their host plants. They have two types of plants that they actually use. The host plants, and those are the plants that the female lays their eggs on, and then the caterpillar eats. And so if you don't have the host plant, you're not going to have that species. Now, that also doesn't mean, though, that if you have the host plant, you're going to have the species.
Yeah.
It's interesting. There are sometimes, you know, geographical locations where the host plant is located where you're going to have a population of those butterflies. But then you can have another population over here and you have the host plant, and for whatever reason, the butterflies aren't there. So it really depends. We're not quite sure why that occurs. It can be the same elevation. It can be, you know, all very similar, but it's up to the butterflies. A lot's up to the butterflies.
Does that change? Like one year they're in point A and not in point B, which is similar as you just described,
right.
And then the next year back, does that happen, or are they more territorial?
It can change.
Specific.
You
Okay.
have these species that really call it temperature sensitive.
Okay.
Right? That in the summer, they'll start down in Phoenix. Cloudless sulfur is a perfect species, perfect example. Their host plant is down there. They're happy, but they are a very heat-sensitive species.
Okay.
So once it really starts getting hot down there, they will start migrating up here. We do have their host plant here. It's a senna, and so they will start migrating on many years when it just gets to be too much for them. And so it's very interesting, and there are a lot of other species that do that as well. And it could be the opposite in the winter when we're starting to get a little bit cooler.
Right.
And they're not so cold tolerant. And this is our monarchs is a perfect example. You know, they're not going to stay in the winter in Flagstaff. They're either going to go to Mexico or they're going to go to the coast of California.
Sure.
Yeah.
Kids, your mom and I are heading to Mexico.
Yep.
It just seems to me, because you talked a little about migration last time, and that a butterfly we think of as so delicate.
Yes.
and to make distances like that, and who knows what kind of weather they might run into, especially this type monsoon season. It just blows my mind that they can do that. But Mother Nature,
and this
something.
Weather, like the valley has been having crazy winds, and so I wonder how it is affecting them. You will have species that, because of winds, can get caught up in those winds.
Right.
We did our butterfly count in May here. And up near the airport, I found a species that has never, it's been seen here once before. It was a second known observation. It was so worn, I didn't even know what it was at first. And turns out it was something called a mallow scrub hair streak that we just don't have up here. That is a southeast Arizona species, southern Arizona species. And it was clearly blown up back then in May. We were having some interesting winds, and it was clearly blown up here by that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I got to ask you, because it's still in the recent past, the pocket fire.
Yes.
With all that smoke, and certainly in the fire zone, we can imagine for all wildlife, but the smoke that was, kind of predominant over Sedona, everybody, I mean, all the Verde Valley, and a lot of people were kind of feeling that effect. I got to assume butterflies are impacted by that kind of thing.
They are.
Do you have any way of knowing for sure? Or
It's hard to know. The fire was in such a steep terrain, and it's an area we don't typically go in. However, I do personally go up into the canyon, into some of those areas up there, the campgrounds, and some of the areas that you can get into to do butterflying. But that fire pretty much broke out about the time that I typically go up. Every year is about almost the beginning of June to mid-June. Okay. And of course, I think the fire started like on the 19th. And so we hadn't been up there, but smoke does affect butterflies, definitely in their caterpillar form and in the adult form, in the sense of, think about us, think about that smoke, that respiratory, and it's something similar for the butterflies as well. So that can affect their energy levels. In turn, which means, do they have enough energy to make it to their next life cycle? Yeah. And then, of course, you have those life cycles: an egg, a caterpillar, and a chrysalis, right? Those three, they were on whatever plants that were where the fire was. Right. And so, unfortunately, they were lost. They were burned. Yeah. An adult butterfly can fly off. Right. But the other life cycles can't. So I would imagine there was a loss. Right. Yeah. Right.
Okay. Sad. I mean, the whole thing.
It is sad.
The whole thing. Okay. Let's bounce back. You mentioned coming up at the big event, the 12th, the September 12th event. How to attract? Because who doesn't want butterflies in their yard or on their property or whatever? Yeah. There are certainly plants that are going to be specific for attracting. Like bees and anything else, but butterflies specifically. Can we make them toward the types of butterflies, or is it more generic than that? Or
when it comes to the plants, I mentioned the two different types of plants, right? So you need host plants, and then you need the nectar plants for the adult butterflies. Now, the host plants, you have some species that are very specific and only eat one type of species. We have a lot of different species that their caterpillars will only eat mallows. So we have like our desert globe mallow, which is very popular, and it sustains a lot of different species. And then you have species like the painted lady, the gray hair streak. They are generalists. So scientists don't even know all of the plants that they actually eat. And so they're in a good position, right? If we lose some of these plants, they're probably going to go use something else.
If I was a butterfly, I'd be one of those guys.
Exactly.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
Some of that, some of that.
Exactly.
Right.
But the best way, really, I mean, there are a lot of... there's a list of things when I do presentations that I let people know this is what you want to do to attract butterflies to your garden. But the one biggest thing you could do is plant host plants. You will have way more butterflies in your garden than if you just have nectar sources. Okay. And some may say, well, wait a minute, it's a plant. Isn't it a host plant and a nectar plant? And not necessarily. Mm-hmm. So a plant can be just a nectar plant for butterflies, okay, because they have certain floral structures, right, that they like. We call it single pad. So it's like a landing pad for our little teeny tiny species that land on the pads. They can see it easy. They have a very short proboscis, so they can get to the nectar. And then when you think of like our penstemons, right, it's a tubular flower. Our little guys can't get in there to get the nectar. Okay. Now our big guys can. Our big two-tailed swallowtail, our state insect, they can get in there. But so you really, it sounds kind of crazy, but you kind of have to think about, okay, what's my goal when it comes to my pollinator garden?
Who are you after?
Who do you want, right? And it's great because we have on our website, if you go to our website, Butterfly Enthusiasts of NAZ.org, we've put together 2 plant lists. So one a host plant, one the nectar. And then you can look at that and say, hey, I really like the pipevine swallowtail. What do I need to plant to put that in my garden?
Kind of a guide. Yeah. It is a guide.
It is a guide. And
Excellent.
then we have a nectar list that is great for butterflies as well. Because there are some of our species of plants that butterflies won't even go to. They're actually pollinated by bees.
Okay.
And so we have a very specific list of nectar plants for butterflies on our website.
Excellent. Okay, and it's a terrific website too. Butterfly Enthusiasts of NAZ.org. Take a look at that. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back. Our guest again, Becky Hardy, is president of the Butterfly Enthusiast Organization. They've got a big event coming up on September 12th. We'll talk more about it. We're going to talk radio tagging. Yes, they can do that to butterflies. We'll talk more on Countywide after this.
Thank you so very much for your generosity and kindness in helping others. I hope that you take advantage of the many Arizona state tax credits available when giving to qualified charities and schools. If you haven't taken advantage, I hope you'll ask your favorite charity if they qualify. You can go to Arizona Department of Revenue website, search for tax credits, and look at the list of qualifying charities. Then look at your latest Arizona income tax return and see how an Arizona tax credit can benefit many. This is Lewis saying thanks again.
While the temperatures rise, make sure your peace of mind does too. Jonna Randall Murdoch, your local Farm Bureau agent, is ready to help you simplify and protect what matters most: your home, your car, your life, and your future. Jonna offers competitive pricing with a relationship-first approach that puts you at the center of every decision. Call Jonna Randall Murdoch today at 928-649-8686. Located on Villa Drive in Cottonwood. Farm Bureau Financial Services. It's your future. Let's protect it.
We welcome you back to the program. Again, our guest today is Becky Hardy, butterfly enthusiast of Northern Arizona, and coming up on September 12th, Soaring Over Sedona, celebration of butterflies. All people butterfly. If you're a butterfly nerd, I said it, but it's, some of our hobbies are like that. My wife's out there with the rocks and the birds, and she's proud to call herself a rock nerd. But there's going to be people from all over the state, you said, coming and enjoying each other's company and sharing ideas and plans. And I love the website and the idea of how we can attract. That's just a good idea for a healthy garden too, isn't it? It's beautiful, but just to kind of keep everything in balance. It's just a delight.
A balanced ecosystem,
and bees too.
Right.
We've heard about, I don't know how the bees are doing with the die-offs that we've been hearing so much about, and it seems like we haven't heard as much recently.
Right.
But whatever we can do locally. I know some people in the Midwest even are kind of letting their lawns grow, and back there they can get really shaggy, and a lot of that's for bees, butterflies, and critters of all kinds. We're trying to kind of bring back some population, so that's good. Speaking of populations, last time you were here you mentioned radio tagging of butterflies, and again, to me, they're just so delicate and small that how can you even do that? But there's a way. How is that program kind of continuing to develop?
It's amazing. Technology is just blowing my mind, and like you said, when it comes to these little teeny tiny, these are solar tags. Okay, so they don't have a battery. They're very light, so that you can put them on the back of a monarch, and it is the size of a grain of rice. Incredible. Now, when you tag, of course, the butterfly does have to be a certain weight. It has to be in a certain condition. If it's got ragged wings and all that and a skinny body, you don't want to be putting it on them. It's just not going to be good.
Here's a dumb question. Can you tell a butterfly's relative age by those conditions?
You can and can't. It's just hard to say because it could be environment. Right, a result of the environment, that there's not enough nectar, and maybe that's why they're so thin.
Okay.
But typically what will happen is their scales will start running, wearing off. They may have, chunks out of their wings from birds grabbing them, and they're still flying around.
Okay.
But so it's more environmentally effects rather than...
So if they're looking a little rough, then they've been through one or the other. They're getting older and/or...
Yeah.
some winds or whatever.
Right.
What is the lifespan, say, of a monarch butterfly, just as an example?
Well, and that's an interesting question.
That's where the tagging comes in.
On average, most butterfly species live anywhere from about 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
Now, the first 3 generations of monarchs, 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
But then we have the super generation. And that's the generation that hopefully people are going to be seeing soon. They're late right now. Normally we're getting the monarchs down into the Verde Valley at this time of year, and I have not had sightings yet. And I have some of our members I'm hearing nobody's seen any yet. But that super generation that does the migration, they will live up to 9 to 10 months.
Really?
Yes.
That's a heck of a difference.
That is the generation that will fly pretty much from Canada up, further north.
Yeah.
Come down, fly up to about 3,000 miles, depending where they are.
Oh, that's incredible.
Down into the mountains in central Mexico. They will overwinter in Mexico. They will then, in the spring, mate down in Mexico and then start flying north into Texas to lay eggs on milkweeds. And then that female will then die. And then the next generation starts.
Wow.
So it's absolutely amazing how this generation knows that they are the one that they're going to live longer, that they turn off the urge. It's called diapause. They turn off the urge to mate, put all their energy into migrating, and live 9 to 10 months.
That
Amazing.
That is just something.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I had no idea. The idea of radio tagging then is what, to see migration patterns? What is the real energy behind the...
Right. In the past, the tagging was a sticker. And so that sticker essentially went on the discal cell of the monarch. And so we knew where that monarch was tagged. We had point A.
Sure.
Right? And then if that sticker was recovered down on the coast of California or down in Mexico, we knew points A and point B, but we never knew what was happening in between. What are these monarchs doing in between that time? So yes, these radio tags are game changing.
Sure.
They are going to tell us where the monarchs are going, how long they're staying there. And so this is going to help scientists and conservationists say, hey, you know what, we've got an area that is so popular with the monarchs that we really need to focus on habitat restoration in this location. And what's really neat is when Cellular Tracking Technologies is the company that started the tagging. When they first came out, they came out with what they call Blue Series receivers, which we installed 2. We discussed the last time I was here. Mm-hmm. We installed 2 of those, one on Anderson Mesa and one on a private ranch in Camp Verde. And so if a butterfly that is tagged with the radio tag flies by within 1.25 miles, it would ping that tower. Okay. And so we would know, right? Now, Cellular Tracking Technologies has upgraded that tag, and they call it passive tracking. So if anybody has their phone on, if they have Bluetooth on and location services, it is tagging their phone.
Wow.
And tracking them on a site called modus.org, and anybody can go onto that site and see where these monarchs are. And so you don't get a ping on your phone saying that, hey, you just pinged a monarch. However, there is an app that you can put on your phone called Project Monarch, and it's on both Google and Apple stores, so people can download that for free, put that on, and if you have that running, it will ping you and say, hey, you just pinged a monarch, and let you know. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so this is game changing. This spring was the first spring, of course, that organizations went down to Mexico and actually radio tagged a bunch of monarchs. They've never tagged monarchs in the spring, ever. Okay. And so they radio tagged them in the spring to see what they did and where they went, and how they flew north, what their route was. And so it was very, very interesting getting that information real time. Yeah. And that's the exciting part. This isn't something you're waiting a month or a year or what have you. This is real time that you can go on modus.org and say, wow, look at where that monarch is now. And wow, it just flew 50 miles in a day and now it's over here. And it's pretty fun. You can tell I'm geeking out.
That is exciting. I thought a couple of years ago I saw someone was doing that with, I don't remember what species of whale. And you can, very similar kind of set up an app and all of this kind of stuff, and you can track them. in the seas, and of course they can be fitted with very large devices that you can put on satellite.
Right.
But just knowing that information is going to be beneficial ultimately to the insect.
It is,
as well as to the casual observers, scientists, and medicine. It goes on and on. All right, we need to take another break. Becky Hardy is our guest, a butterfly enthusiast of northern Arizona. It's countywide, and we're back right after this. Get peace of mind with a summer tune-up from Verde Air, a family-owned business providing premier air conditioning, heating, and plumbing services to the greater Verde Valley for more than 40 years. Make sure your system runs efficiently, quietly, and reliably, no matter how hot it gets. Don't wait for a breakdown. Schedule your summer maintenance today. Call 928-567-5315. That's VerdeSolaire.com, your factory-authorized carrier dealer. Verde Air, keeping you cool year after year.
If you're near retirement or thinking about retiring, you probably have a lot of questions. How do you make your savings last? How much should you take out and when? You're ready for retirement, but are your finances? I'm Edward Jones financial advisor, Matthias Sandoval. Let's work together to help ensure your finances can keep up with your unique needs over the long haul. You've done what it takes to get there. Now it's time to make the most of retirement. Give us a call at 928-634-1044.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
And again, good day. We wrap it up with Becky Hardy and butterfly enthusiasts of northern Arizona. Your excitement's got me all going here. So speaking of excitement, coming up on September 12th, this is going to be a lot of fun. The organization is going to have folks come from all over the state and sharing different kinds of ideas and all of your passions, shared passions, kind of under one roof. So talk a little bit, again, if you would, like we did at the top of the show. That'll be fun.
Yes, we will have, as you mentioned, different organizations that will be representing butterflies, monarchs. We have some organizations that are specific studies for monarchs. The Southwest Monarch Study will be doing tagging of the monarchs if they are present. Again, a lot of this is always up to the butterflies, if the butterflies show up, right? So, but if they do, we are having monarch tagging demos at 9:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. We will have a plant sale all throughout from 9 a.m. to noon. We will have other organizations there offering educational opportunities, crafts. This is really just a fun for all ages event, and it is free. It's open to everybody, and we're just really excited to share information about butterflies, how to attract them to your garden, the importance of them. Butterflies and moths, second to bees, their moths especially are so important pollinators that we need them. We don't realize, our food being pollinated, and then our native plants. Our butterflies and moths are pollinating them. So come out, join us, learn all about butterflies, learn about Butterfly Enthusiasts of Northern Arizona and what we do. We offer chapter meetings. So you're always learning something new. We bring in speakers who are knowledgeable about different topics. We offer field trips, all that good stuff, and we're just really excited about this event to share with the public the importance of our pollinators.
Going to be a good one. All right. Well, enjoy the work you do. Clearly you do very, very much, and I know everybody that attends will as well. Again, it's a free event, and that is coming up on Saturday, September 12th, 9 a.m., Sedona Wetlands Preserve. Our guest, Becky Hardy, today. I'm Brad Miller. It's countywide. Oh, don't forget, now we are available. You can catch us on Spotify and on YouTube. You get to look at Becky. You have to look at me, as well as on the radio. So we've spread countywide out into other places you can enjoy. All right. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time.